Under the bright Taipei skies, Taiwan's National Day celebrations unfold with calculated precision. Marching bands echo through the streets, the flag rises against the morning light, and the nation's leaders take their places. But behind the pageantry lies a deep sense of urgency. President Ching-te steps up to the podium, his voice steady but resolute. The world is watching, and his message, delivered before a sea of Taiwanese flags, is clear. Taiwan will strengthen its defences like never before. He begins by addressing the most pressing concern of his administration: deterrence. We are determined to maintain peace through strength, he declares. His words are measured, yet carry the weight of a man standing at the front line of a potential geopolitical flashpoint. Lai makes it clear that peace, for Taiwan, is not a passive ideal. It must be earned, maintained, and defended. We firmly believe, he continues, that strength is not obtained through military strength alone, but must also rely on resilience throughout society. It's a philosophy that mirrors Taiwan's precarious position, a vibrant democracy under constant shadow from Beijing, which insists the island is part of its territory. Over the past year, Chinese warplanes have crossed the median line of the Taiwan Strait almost daily, and naval vessels have carried out encirclement drills that many analysts say simulate a blockade. In Washington, pressure has mounted on Taipei to modernize, innovate, and prepare for what US officials describe as the most consequential defense challenge of the 21st century. Lai's speech, broadcast live across major networks, signals a turning point. First, he says, we will accelerate our building of the T-Dome, establish a rigorous air defense system in Taiwan with multi-layered defense, high-level detection, and effective interception. The T-Dome, a reference to Taiwan's integrated air defense architecture, is designed to be the nation's shield against aerial and missile attacks. Modeled in part on Israel's Iron Dome and layered with American-made Patriot systems, it will combine radar arrays, anti-aircraft missile batteries, and AI-assisted early warning systems into one national network. The president's vision is ambitious: a dome of protection encasing the island from the northern capital Taipei to the southern port of Kaohsiung. In the face of China's expanding missile arsenal, estimated at over 1,000 short and medium-range ballistic missiles aimed at Taiwan, Lai's proposal represents both a technological leap and a political statement. Taiwan will not yield to intimidation. Second, he continues, we will advance the integration of high-tech and AI technologies to build a smart defense combat system, maximizing effective deterrence for our asymmetric strategy. The words asymmetric strategy carry special meaning in Taiwan's defense doctrine. It means not trying to match China's military power weapon for weapon, but using innovation to offset size with intelligence. AI-driven surveillance, drone swarms, decoy ships, and mobile missile platforms have become the core of this approach. Taiwan's Ministry of Defense has been quietly testing autonomous drones capable of reconnaissance and strike missions, a reflection of lessons drawn from conflicts like Ukraine, where agility and data have often outweighed brute force. Lai's emphasis on AI also reflects a deeper goal: to make defense a whole-of-society effort, leveraging Taiwan's strengths as a global leader in semiconductor and computing technologies. In the crowd, foreign diplomats nod as he speaks. The United States has long been the island's principal backer, supplying weapons and technical training through programs approved under the Taiwan Relations Act. Japan and Australia have recently stepped up their coordination as well, forming a tighter Indo-Pacific security network. Yet Lai knows that military strength alone is not enough. We will continue to invest in innovative defense technologies, he says, and collaborate with the military industries of advanced nations to bolster our defense industry capabilities. The message resonates beyond Taiwan. It signals a readiness to stand shoulder to shoulder with democracies that share the same anxieties about a changing regional order. Behind the scenes, cooperation between Taipei and Washington on radar technology and missile guidance systems has deepened. At the same time, domestic defense firms like the National Changshan Institute of Science and Technology have accelerated production of Skybow and Tianqian missile systems, indigenous submarines, and early warning aircraft. The scale of this modernization drive is massive. Defense spending, which crossed $20 billion this fiscal year, now accounts for nearly 2.7% of Taiwan's GDP, a record high. More than half of that funding is earmarked for air defense missile systems and intelligence capabilities. Analysts describe this as a silent revolution in Taiwan's strategic posture, deterrence through modernization, self-reliance and alliances. But Lai's tone softens as he pivots to the subject of peace. He speaks directly to Beijing, calling for restraint and dialogue. We look forward to the day when China can take responsibility as a major power and cease its distortion of United Nations General Assembly Resolution 2758 and historical World War II documents, he says. The reference is deliberate. China often cites Resolution 2758 to claim sovereignty over Taiwan, though the text itself makes no explicit mention of the island. Lai's challenge is both diplomatic and moral. He asks Beijing to stop weaponizing history. He goes further, urging China to renounce the use of force or coercion to change the status quo across the Taiwan Strait. The words echo through the hall, a plea and a warning intertwined. Lai envisions a joint maintenance of peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific. It's a theme he has repeated in international forums, that Taiwan's fate is inseparable from the region's security architecture, and that a war across the strait would devastate not only Asia, but the global economy. Beyond the rhetoric, the stakes are real. Taiwan produces more than 60% of the world's semiconductors and over 90% of advanced chips used in devices from smartphones to fighter jets. Any disruption, whether from conflict, blockade or cyber attack, would send shockwaves through global supply chains. For the United States and its allies, defending Taiwan is not just about democracy. It's about preserving the technological backbone of the modern world. Lai's emphasis on resilience throughout society also points to another front in the defense effort: civil preparedness. Taiwan's government has expanded its civil defense programs, training citizens in emergency response, evacuation, and information warfare. Local governments now conduct regular blackout drills, simulating communication breakdowns and infrastructure attacks. Even schools have begun introducing cybersecurity courses to help students recognize disinformation, a growing threat from state-sponsored networks. Public opinion in Taiwan has shifted too. A decade ago, discussions about defense often felt distant, almost abstract. But as Chinese incursions increased, so did a sense of collective purpose. Polls show that more than 70% of Taiwanese citizens now support expanding military service and increasing defense budgets. Civil society groups have also stepped up, creating volunteer networks for medical aid, logistics, and communications during potential crises. For Lai, this unity is both his mandate and his shield. Since taking office, he has faced internal skepticism from opposition parties who fear his policies could provoke Beijing. But the president insists that deterrence is the surest path to peace. Peace through strength, he repeats, the phrase that anchors his National Day address. It's a message crafted as much for domestic reassurance as for international signalling. In Washington, the speech is seen as aligning closely with US policy goals. The Biden and Trump administrations alike have stressed Taiwan's need to bolster its defenses. In recent months, congressional committees approved multiple arms sales, including advanced radar systems and AMRAAM air-to-air missiles. American trainers have been quietly working with Taiwanese units in simulation exercises focused on integrated air defense, the very concept Lai now champions under the T-Dome initiative. Meanwhile, across the strait, Beijing's reaction is predictably sharp. Chinese state media accuse Lai of promoting separatism under the guise of security, and the People's Liberation Army releases new footage of military drills simulating joint blockade operations. Yet, for all the rhetoric, there is also a subtle shift. Beijing's tone toward Washington has grown more cautious amid economic pressures and diplomatic recalibrations. In Taipei, the ceremony concludes with applause as Lai waves to the crowd. Fighter jets roar overhead in synchronized formation, a symbolic reminder of both pride and peril. As the national anthem fades, the president leaves the stage, his words still echoing in the square. We will weave a safety net for Taiwan to protect the lives and property of our citizens. In the following hours, his remarks dominate news cycles. Defense analysts dissect every phrase, markets watch for signs of escalation, and regional capitals issue carefully worded statements. But for ordinary Taiwanese watching at home, the meaning is simpler. Their leader is promising to safeguard their future. Throughout the day, footage of Lai's speech circulates online, drawing millions of views. Hashtags trend across X and local social platforms. Hashtag Taiwan National Day, hashtag Peace Through Strength, hashtag T-Dome. In the comments, citizens debate, cheer and question the vibrant, noisy democracy on full display. For many, the president's words are both reassurance and rallying cry. As night falls over Taipei, fireworks illuminate the skyline, brilliant, fleeting bursts over a city that knows both celebration and vigilance. The national flag flutters in the breeze above the presidential office, a symbol of endurance against the odds. In Lai's vision, Taiwan's strength will not only come from its weapons, but from the determination of its people, a society resilient, united, and ready to face whatever comes. And in that resolve, perhaps, lies Taiwan's greatest defense of all.
来宾请起立。
We are determined to maintain peace through strength. We firmly believe that strength is not obtained through military strength alone, but must also rely on resilience throughout society. First, we will accelerate our building of the T-Dome, establish a rigorous air defense system in Taiwan with multi-layered defense, high-level detection and effective interception, and weave a safety net for Taiwan to protect the lives and property of citizens.
为台湾编织保护国人生命财产安全的防护网。
Second, we will advance the integration of high-tech and AI technologies to build a smart defense combat system, maximizing effective deterrence for our asymmetric strategy. Third, we will continue to invest in innovative defense technologies and collaborate with the military industries of advanced nations to bolster our defense industry capabilities. We look forward to the day when China can take responsibility as a major power and cease its distortion of United Nations General Assembly Resolution 2758 and historical World War II documents. We also hope it will renounce the use of force or coercion to change the status quo across the Taiwan Strait so that we can jointly maintain the peace and stability of the Indo-Pacific. 以武力及胁迫方式改变台海现状，共同维护印太和平稳定。